Hello everyone, I'm back, finally, doing a full review after like 4 fucking weeks. It's taken long. I've been busy, and I say this in my last video, I think too. I've just been so fucking busy doing math exams and history exams. These past like 3 weeks have been like, do all these assignments. I got the most assignments I've ever had. I was getting a lot of hours the past few work weeks. This week I'm not really getting anything, so I have time. Because not only has school kind of just ended, I literally have to go in for one more final exam next Wednesday, I guess this upcoming Wednesday, the 15th of December, the day before Spider-Man. Can't wait to review that one. That's going to be a fun big one to review. I'm sure if anyone wants a review, it's probably on Spider-Man. It's the biggest movie this year, so you know. Or maybe it's a little independent film that no one's heard of. Maybe I'm just overhyping Spider-Man, No Way Home. But I've just been busy with so much shit, like, I'm trying to catch up on movies, too. Like, not only have I been doing exams and math tests, I've been getting a lot more hours at work. So with this combination, and I'm also been seeing the movies. And by the time you've seen all the movies, you just come home very tired and want to sleep and not get a phone or a camera or a mic and just fucking go for it, like do a review of it, But I have time tonight. I'm home alone at the moment. Tomorrow morning I have work, but then I don't have it the rest of the week, at least as I know of now. Anything could change, but right now I only work tomorrow for like a 5-hour shift, so it'd be fine. Pretty relaxing and fairly standard week of work for me. I only have to go in for one test on Wednesday, and then it's movies, shows, preparing for next semester, all that shit. And I have like a list I put together of like 63 movies that it's like 15 of them I missed, and then a lot are independent films I could see online that I guess you could say are on like Netflix and HBO Max, so I have like 10 over there on a lot of services I have to see, and then there's like still, believe it or not, people don't know, there's a lot of independent movies that haven't even hit release like for me. So like there's like 30 to 40 more movies I want to see there. So there's a ton of shit to still see this year, and that's going to make my letterbox fill with like 170 movies, and once I've seen all of them, probably after the Oscars end this year, like the award season ends, I'd say around, late March the awards are going to be this year. Okay, maybe I'll try and get the video out before the Oscars, because then I would do an Oscar predictions video. But I'm going to do a video ranking every film I've seen the entire year, from whatever's the 170 to 150, all the way up to number one. How many ever movies I've seen, I'm going to do that. So the movie I'm talking about today is two movies, actually. I'm going to be doing a musical that I fucking loved from Disney recently. It came out late November, and I just haven't reviewed it yet. I've been meaning to. It's one of my favorites this year. It blew my mind, and I cannot wait to talk about that. And I'm going to be talking about another musical, technically from Disney, but actually from Fox, which is now 20th Century Studios, and it got carried over just from Disney buying them, and that is, of course, West Side Story, which is the film I'm going to review first. And then then you can stick around for the later review. It's one video, it's not like it's a live stream. Why am I saying it like that? So first I want to review West Side Story. So if anyone knows West Side Story, it is the Romeo and Juliet musical, is really what it is. People know Romeo and Juliet. Well, Stephen Sondheim, I forget the other guy's name, took this musical all the way up to Broadway. They created a bunch of great songs, ones that I'm sure even if you haven't seen the musical, you've heard I Feel Pretty, you've heard America, you may have even heard Cool or G Officer Krupke. You've heard these classic tunes that everyone knows. I mean, shit, they're wide out there. Even if you haven't seen the original movie or heard the Broadway recording, or, have seen this new one if you possibly have seen it. It is Saturday, so technically you've had like 2 days to see it out there if anyone has seen it. Yeah, I mean, shit, the songs have probably already stuck with you. And it's the story basically of two rival gangs, the Jets and the Sharks. They're both on these giant corner city of New York, and it's the 50s, late 50s, and of course there's obviously racial tension. There's a lot of sexism at the time, racism at the time. There's a lot of it's a very particular point in time that this movie takes place, is what I'm trying to say. And the basic story is partly the Jets and the Sharks, but partly of a love interest between Maria, who is the sister of Bernardo, who is the leader of the Sharks, the Puerto Rican gang, and then the Jets have Tony, a person who's been out of their group because he's on probation for a while, but due to an incident of him beating up someone who was actually Puerto Rican. And they fall in love, Maria and Tony, and that, of course, has not only the gang been planning, the Jets have been planning a fight with the Sharks, and they already make an agreement deal about where they're going to fight, where they're going to meet up, and finally settle who gets this part of the block and what weapons they can use and all that shit. And, of course, to amp it up times two, Bernardo, of course, doesn't want Maria anywhere near Tony, and, of course, everyone in the gang of the Jets just doesn't see why Tony would be going for a Puerto Rican girl, and that's like the big feud, and that causes their love causes tension on both sides. Obviously a Romeo and Juliet story, but this is the gangs of New York on the blocks in the 50s, and then there's music, and fucking holy shit, the music in this movie. Let me just say, I'm a huge fan of the original. It has a few elements that I find dated and a lot of things that I don't necessarily agree with, like such as the brown face. I'm sure everyone knows about that already. Some of the the usages of the character of Anybody's, who is like this girl who wants to be a part of the Jets, but it's a girl who just tries to look like a man. And that message, I find that message in that movie completely dated. With how they do it here, I think it is a way more driven character arc for her in this movie. Or, you know what I mean. And other things this movie does so well, genuinely does well, is the message of racism is handled extremely better. In that movie, it does kind of feel one-sided, and it is a dated film. The fact that they have to use a brown face, the fact that you would need to put in any formatted subtitles at any point, and just keep it all English, is kind of just ridiculous. I think it feels more natural what they've done here. Steven Spielberg, of course, if you haven't heard the reports, has just decided not to do subtitles for any of the Spanish-spoken dialogue, and I completely agree that's the best way of doing it. It didn't annoy me or find it confusing. I know a decent bit of Spanish, a little bit of Spanish, so I understood a good chunk of it, but maybe not everything, but it wasn't like bad for me. And I don't think it was bad for anyone. I haven't heard anyone go like they've been confused because there's no subtitles. I haven't heard that complaint. If people are having that complaint, then honestly, you can't pick up the basics of it. It's maybe 7% of the movie is Spanish dialogue, maybe even less. It's really not that much, honestly speaking. I think what's been improved here from Steven Spielberg is actually a lot. I think not only the message of sexism and racism and the improvement of the gangs. I don't feel the tension when I watched that original one. When I was younger, 11 or 12 when I saw it, I really did. I felt the gang's rivalry, the tension, I felt the emotion of it. I thought it was impressively dark for, a G-rated musical, because it was G-rated at the time. But as I sit here now, I just rewatched it. I actually did just watch it now. And it just didn't hit me at all. It didn't hit me emotionally as much. The love story, it did work for me. It worked definitely, I thought, a bit better than it did in this new one. We'll get to that in a minute. But the music, the gang rivalries, the deaths, if you know what happens. This is a West Side Story. I'm going to spoil it. So, honestly, if you don't know what happens in West Side Story, fuck you. It's 60 years old. It's based on Romeo and Juliet. You could piece it together when I say Romeo and Juliet. That alone should help a little bit. But basically what happens in the original one, the reason that movie just doesn't affect me as much anymore is I think it's so dated. It just comes off as kind of cheesy. I don't think the dance fights are anything great. I think the gang fight around the ending comes off cheesy. I actually like the way, at first I didn't, when I left the theater recently, on one song, where I Feel Pretty in the original, or at least the original Broadway, I believe, is where it is in here, in the new one. But in the 1961 movie, of course, the Best Picture winner movie, they have I Feel Pretty before the gang rival fight, and before all that stuff kicks in. Here, as soon as the gang rival fight scene ends, we have I Feel Pretty. And that's such a happy-inducing song after such a completely fucking shitty, horrible, awful, tragic moment that happens in the movie, that I actually felt that it made it way more sad. It made me feel way more uncomfortable, and I almost feel that was what it was trying to do. And I believe that was done better. I believe that they added violence. There was blood. I was like, oh shit. There's actually some blood. I see leaking people. I see bloody ears. I see some actual shit happening in this movie where I was more impressed about. they pushed the violence a little bit more forward. It wasn't like aggressively violent. It wasn't disturbingly violent, but it definitely went further than the original did. And I like that Steven Spielberg not only had these happy-go-lucky musical moments, these beautiful, cheesy musical moments that are fucking awesome, so catchy, and is honestly really well done music. Like, seriously, in terms of, like, lyrics, Steven Sondheim has written some of the best music ever, and I think that's true for this movie, and for the original, but even here they improved it. I thought the sequence of America was improved. It was so unique and different. It had more energy, more levity, more humor. It was a better satire than I think the original one does. Just simply on how it's shot, how the lighting looks. I can tell you right away that this will not only be nominated for Best Costume Design, Production Design, Editing, Sound, what else will it be nominated for? Yeah, Costume, Editing, Sound, Costume Editing, Production, Sound, Directing, I think Supporting Actress and Supporting Actor, and I think Best Picture. And I could honestly see like one or two more awards there. Definitely not screenplay or score, sound, and music in that way, because the score, while great, it is a score that's kind of been done. It is just this repeated step score. It's going to definitely go to movies like Dune and The French Dispatch. Those movies will get that. But this movie is going to get a shitload of awards. It is already having great critical reception, great audience reception from the people who have seen it. It seems everyone is fucking loving it. Yeah, I seriously think it improves. It is extremely dark and grittier. Like, right when you think the movie's just so happy and you're an hour and 10 minutes in, you're like, fuck. This movie's gonna make me cry. And I did cry. Like, this movie really did get me emotional, and I thought it was just so well done. My biggest complaints here have to deal with simply one person. I think that Rachel Zagler is fucking amazing. She's gonna be a star. Is it Ariana DeBose? I don't know how to say her last name. I'm sure there is a very specific way. Sorry that I'm not getting it. She will be nominated for Best Supporting Actress. She is fucking incredible. She takes on Rita Moreno's role from the original, and she does just as good as her, if not even arguably better. It is even more emotional what they pull here, as well as Mike Fest as Riff, the leader of the Jets, known for Broadway on his Dear Evan Hansen fame. But here he is fucking stellar. I think he was the best performance of the movie. His sequences were impactful and great. And also, is Danny Everez, who plays Bernardo. I thought he was fucking incredible, too. Like, equally as good as Mike Fest is Riff, but I thought Riff had, like, a lot more to do than he did, personally. That's why I would say he was more of the supporting actor standout, if anyone. I thought he was the best performance in the movie. But, seriously speaking, this movie, it lacks in, like, one little department. And yet, even though I don't think this performance is great, I still almost give this a perfect score. I'm going to let that be known now. But I do think Ansel Elgort brings down the movie a lot. Not because of the allegations. Let's get that aside. I know those allegations are fucking horrible. And, like, I don't really remember if they were confirmed to be true or not, because they kind of just happened and then went by. Like, no one talks about it anymore. And I don't really want to talk about it and get fucking political on that. But, like, I'm surprised he's still getting roles. Like, honestly, if I guess the James Franco and shit is way more major than, like, minimally it is here. It is weird to see Ansel Elgort now in this, because I feel he was miscast. It feels like someone else should have been at the helm, at the lead. It feels like someone could have done this better. I'm not saying he was awful. Singing, he's actually impressively good, and in the gang scenes, he's really good. But, of course, the main focus with the character of Tony is the love story, and I felt his part in the love story, I just didn't feel the connection, mainly because I just didn't feel he was always present. I heard his accents sometimes go out of place. I just didn't feel the connection there. He felt very plain when everyone else felt like they had this energetic light, this beautiful side to them. I felt the emotional connection because Rachel Zegler's performance is so fucking good in comparison to him. He is okay. Like, I can't say he's bad. He's just miscast. But he's good in, like, singing in the gang scenes. But again, like, he's miscast. In the love story, that's a huge fucking presence of this movie. And that is, like, the weakest thing. But it doesn't affect the whole movie. Because I haven't been... This is easily top 5 most entertaining films I've seen this year. Like, in terms of the entertainment level. In terms of the shock and value of it. The emotional moments. That is easily top 5 as well. It had me fucking smiling. I wanted to go see it again and again. And, like, seriously, I recommend this movie to everyone regardless of his performance. The supporting actress and actor categories are going to be full. A fucking West Side Story, I hope, because goddamn is, like, everyone else great. The cinematography is beautiful. The musical numbers are improved. G Officer KRUPKE is even fucking funnier and so unique. Like, as I was watching the choreography, I was like, holy shit, they did this. This is just so well laid out. There's even, like, background humor, like, shit that just blends in. Like, as they're singing the Jet song, and they're saying, when you're a jet, you stay. Jet, that line, the car's, like, in the background, like, parked, like, because they were walking through the street, and the car's, like, perfectly braked to the beat of the song, and, like, there's little details like that in every fucking song. It's not just the cars in that first song. That's just the one that I first picked up on. But there's like even more little details that perfectly match them to the beat on the to the background. Chino also gets a bigger character arc if you know who the character of Chino is, as well as anybody's. So like it's great that these characters get more to do. They're not just the basicness to get the plot going. They actually have more to do and they feel like they have more of a character arc. And that's why I'm going to give West Side Story a 9 out of 10. Honestly, it could go up. It could go up for my score or down on another viewing, but I was so fucking entertained and into it, and it got me emotional. Like, it did really well and had me on the edge of my seat at times, and even the musical numbers had me tapping my foot and fucking clapping at the end of them. It's just that good. I'm going to see it again in theaters at some point. I don't know when, but I want to revisit it in theaters before. I mean, I'm sure I'll enjoy seeing it at home, but it is meant to be seen on the big screen, so please go check this out. And now we're going to move on to Encanto. Okay, so Encanto is the biggest surprise hit of the fucking year. Holy shit. This is a film that I had very minimal interest in seeing. I was excited for the fact that I had a new Disney movie. It was an original Disney movie. It looked decently unique. It didn't look like anything I hadn't seen for sure before, but it had, you know, this different style to it. Something about the story didn't look entirely similar. I mean, it was still Disney magical musical movie, so it still had all that, but it just didn't seem to appeal to me. I didn't have much interest event originally going in. But eventually, after having sat through the same day, just before it, Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City, it should be called Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon Shitty, because it's fucking terrible. I swear, I gotta tell Gabriel that again. Like, I'll remind him. It's a piece of shit. I'll remind it every day I talk to him, because that movie was so fucking boring and lame. As a Resident Evil, it makes me kind of appreciate some of the original Resident Evil movies, like the fucking Mia Jovovich ones. That after that boring movie, I was just like, you know what? I need a fun, light Disney movie, even if it's like just okay. And it is fucking better than okay. This is the best Disney film that they have released in, I would say, years. It's for sure my favorite since Wreck-It Ralph, and I would even say now at the point, I like it more than Wreck-It Ralph and Tangled. I love the shit out of this movie. Let's just get into it. So the story around Encanto revolves around this family of the Madrigals who, starting with their abuela, who went there many years ago after, you know, having to immigrate due to, it has real historical shit in it. I don't want to give it away because then I would spoil the ending a little bit by that. But basically at the time that they most needed help in life when immigrating and all of this shit happens, the magic came around them, and there was this magical candle that built this house around them and brought power and beauty to the land, and basically where no one could get in and out. Like basically they couldn't leave, they'd be protected and safe here in this area, and no one could harm them in any way, and that's what the magic protected them when they needed it most. And throughout the years, a bunch of people grew up, and we have this giant family of the Madrigals who all have magical powers. The main character, I don't know why, I almost choked there on like literally nothing. Oh, this Jolly Rancher I have, but it doesn't matter. I almost choked though. And I'll keep this in the video just so you know that you can choke on stuff and you could die whenever. But okay. Sorry. The main character of Mirabelle is basically not giving magic powers when she is a young girl. Everyone's supposed to receive it around like 8 or 9, it seems. I don't think they said the age, but basically they are supposed to receive a magical gift that can not only help the community around them, but also their family in a very unique way. So Abuela is just kind of the person who started it and has their house and is the leader, but she doesn't really have a power necessarily. But, you know, like Mirabelle's sister Luisa is extremely strong. Her sister, oldest sister Isabella is like just perfect in every way, beautiful, everything goes perfect for her. She never has any problems, troubles. Shit is always perfect. And then like her mom can heal people with just food, And the newest kid in the movie, who it is revealed in the trailer, Antonio, can like talk to animals and communicate with them. So everyone has their own special power, but Mirabel was never given one when she was a kid. And the discovery here as the movie goes on is that the magic is fading from the house, and there doesn't seem to be a reason why. So Mirabel goes on this journey around the whole house, because the movie technically just takes place in this house, but these different rooms of the house are so grand and epic scale that it feels like they're traveling to another world just going into these different rooms. And basically it's her journey to discover why nothing in the house is going right, why the magic is fading, and why they might eventually lose it. And of course Mirabel, being the one who has imposter syndrome as the youngest sibling of her three sisters, who has no powers, everyone else in the family does. She feels unspecial, but she feels the need to step up and help the family, as she's the only one who seems concerned about the magic at first, and she just wants to figure out what is going on. So it is her emotional, character-driven, musical journey to figure out exactly what is going on and how she can save the magic. And this movie is not only... the music in here is great, and I could talk about that in a little bit, but really here we have an amazing message and great characters study. Not just a great character study, but characters all around. This is the first Disney ensemble where I swear to God, I'm going to fucking remember every character when they come up on screen. Their jokes, their quips, their little bits that they have, their very specific quirks that they have, each character. I'm going to remember it because they are all so memorable. Mirabel is a great front lead. I mean, first Disney princess with glasses. Come on. I mean, come on. That's a different movie. My bad. Louisa, the strong one. Her song is easily the funniest song, and honestly does have a great message of the movie about feeling under pressure by your family to have to do more. Isabella is about being perfect because, you know, she kind of just doesn't want to be perfect. She's absolutely hating the fact that everything she has just goes so well and perfect that it is almost distracting her from doing something that is imperfect and making the family go like, oh, what the hell is that? Like, she wants that derivative attention. She doesn't just want to be perfect. And all the characters get a study on them, like every single one in their own unique way. The ending is heavily emotional too, and I won't spoil it, so I want that to be spoiler-free for Encanto. If I ever do decide to do a spoiler discussion, it'll be minimally just to go more in depth about the messages, but seriously, the messages of this movie are the most powerful part. The main message of the movie, I would argue, is mostly about imposter syndrome and fitting in, because Mirabel is our lead character. And, of course, she has a huge case fit if she's the only one with no power. Everyone kind of doesn't necessarily judge her directly, but everyone always is in questioning of it. Maybe not to sound rude, but everything to her comes off as, like, distress. She's the youngest sibling. She feels like she has nothing. She doesn't feel like she's adapted like the other ones. But at the same time as just being the sibling with no powers, she's the one person in the entire family that doesn't have powers. And she has her cousins living with her. They got everyone. Like, everyone here has powers, and she just feels unspecial about it. And consistently through the journey... Abuela keeps getting mad at her as she believes that the magic fading is Mirabel's fault. And in some ways it can be seen that way, in some ways it can't be. That comes in through a great character of Bruno, who is this character that no one likes to talk about, because his visions basically came true. He would tell someone that their fish would die, and their fish would die the next day, you know, shit like that. But people all took it as literal, as he was the one causing those problems, not as if they were just going to happen because he could read the future. So everyone was always concerned and kind of hated him, so Bruno just disappeared one day, and as she goes into Bruno's room to discover what could be happening with the vision he had about the magic and how it was fading, she finds out that it all weighs in on her hands, and that is her emotional character arc. And all the other side character arcs are so fucking good. This is a great comedy, a great musical, a great animation piece. It manages to be the most magical and imaginative film they've done in a while. There's no direct villain of this movie either. There's no cliche Disney villain with a villain song in the villain movie. There is no villain. The villain maybe itself could be Mirabel's view on herself and on that. Like, imposter syndrome could be the villain. Or Abuela could be the villain as the pressure that she holds on all the family members and how she's kind of the one who's losing faith in the magic because she's the one putting pressure on everyone else about it. That could be the villain to Luisa as well, like the pressure. The imperfections to Isabella. Like, all of these characters could technically be their own in-self villain. And usually it's related back to their powers, which I found very interesting. More so Luisa and Isabella. as the side characters besides just Mirabelle. There's other side characters with powers, but those aren't really like the huge. If you focused on 8 characters, again, giant character arcs, shit wouldn't really resolve. It'd probably be like a 3-hour movie, especially with where this story goes. But god damn it, do I love this movie. I could talk about it all day, but I just don't want to spoil it. Seriously. I want all the jokes, the musical moments, all the surprises to be there for you. I want people to be surprised. And that ending packs a great emotional punch. And I think it is just one of their best told stories. I could watch this film again and again. I saw it 3 times in theaters. I want to see it again right now as I'm sitting here. I'll probably wait for this one to hit at-home video because I have so much is coming out. I want to see West Side Story again. Red Rocket, I want to go back for a few more times. If you go check out my Red Rock review, my favorite film of the year still, so just letting that be known. In that video, I didn't specify it, but as I sat and thought about it, because that was immediately reviewed after I saw it, 10 out of 10. That's my favorite movie this year. But Encanto, also a 10 out of 10. Very pleased with it. Best Disney film in years. The music by Lin-Manuel Miranda is great. The comedy's great. The emotional parts are great. The animation is stunning. The ideas are magical and imaginative. I love the ensemble. I will not forget a single character or a moment. I want to revisit this movie all the fucking time. I can't wait to own the 4K to see behind the scenes on the animation here. It looks awesome. So, next video I should be doing. I think I'm seeing Don't Look Up on this upcoming Tuesday. I'm going to try and review that one because it'll probably be like a 5 or 6 minute review, but I do want to see it and give a small discussion of it. I'm also Spider-Man No Way Home. No shit. I'm going to try and get that out the day of. Although I'm going to see it twice the day of, and by the time I'm out, it'll be really late, so you might get it on Friday afternoon or morning. You'll have to see. But Spider-Man No Way Home, I got to get ready for that, you know. Nightmare Alley's coming out. Red Rocket, I want to see again. So many movies I have to catch up on. I'm only going to, for now, I'll say, I'm only going to review the movies that are known or big. So, you know, West Side Story, Encanto, Don't Look Up, Spider-Man No Way Home, Nightmare Alley, The Kingsman, I did a miniature review on. Once review embargo drops, I'll do an actual review of that one. So, you know, you got The Kingsman coming. What else is big? Sing 2 and Matrix, those are big too. So, like, the bigger films I do want to review, but if it's, like, smaller independent films, because I'm going to be watching a shitload, like 50 within these next 3 months, I have a lot to catch up on, I'm going to save for the giant video where I rank and review every single film I saw this year. That video will probably be long as hell, so hold back on some of those. I do want to do a catch-up review of Dune, Red Notice, Last Night in Soho, films I need to catch up on. I hopefully will get that done in January before I even do a ranking video of every film I've seen the year. If you want to see my ranking of everything so far this year, or you want to know my thoughts but you can't like hear me address them, I'll link on my Letterboxd list of the best, or of all the movies I've seen in 2021, just so you can get some basic thoughts if you don't really care, if you want to see my ranking. I'll put them in a link in the description, just cause. So that is going to be it with this video. Can't wait for Spider-Man No Way Home and Don't Look Up. And I'll see y'all then. That was fuck. Why did I do? I'm not animating Webzen, so you know. Shit.
The next day.
Okay, so I recorded my review yesterday, just in general in the morning, along with my Encanto review. You just saw it, basically. You just saw my review for Encanto and West Side Story. And I just got the chance to see West Side Story a second time, and I'm here to confirm it is, my second favorite movie this year. It is a 10 out of 10. I think it's a masterpiece. It improves on the original in every way. I love every song. I love all the fucking dance numbers. The performances are stellar. I think, honestly, the reason I was a little harsh on Ansel Elgort might be part of the controversy. He's good. Like, he gives a good performance. It's not the best one. It's probably the weakest of all of the ones, but he's still good. Like, it's solid. And I have to admit, it works better even on the second time around. Even though I loved it the first time, it works great. I'm at Chick-fil-A getting food after leaving from the movie. I can't really speak on what my friends thought of it. I could tell, no, one of them really liked it. I'm not sure about the other, but I think they both at least minimally enjoyed it and thought it was well made. It is an amazing film. It deserves the Oscar noms that are coming. Sorry, I put my phone bright. You can even see a reflection, just so fucking bright. Yeah. I love this movie. I can't wait to own it on 4K. I would see it again, but I have so much other shit to see. So yeah, 10 out of 10. West Side Story improves on the original. Go see it. It's not making money. Fuck you for not seeing it. For real. Please see this. I mean, Spider-Man's probably going to be good, but see this instead. Also, yes, my Encanto review did change to a 9 out of 10, so still my favorite Disney film in years. Slight thing that I thought changed it on a recent viewing, because that review is a little older, just letting you know. Still, Love the movie. Don't get that out of your head. 9 out of 10. Encanto, 10 out of 10. West Side Story. It's like they flipped. Who would have known?
Yes, Officer KRUPKE, you're really a slob. This boy don't need a doctor, just a good honest job. Society. 'Cause